It's the Powerhouse Woman Show. You're a powerhouse woman, successful, accomplished, but you know the time has come for something else. To pivot, make a shift, or do what you've been putting off for a long time. I'm Monica Pierre, a media entrepreneur, Emmy Award-winning journalist and coach, and I'm on a mission to help you figure out your path forward and create powerful new stories about your life and legacy. There's more ahead. Time to do the greatest work of your life. Hello once again, and welcome to the Powerhouse Woman Show. We're so glad that you could join us, and we have a powerhouse show for you today. You may have heard a lot about thought leadership and who's a thought leader and why you should be a thought leader. And maybe you have a lot of confusion about that, and maybe you're playing a little small and thinking that doesn't mean you. My next guest tells you, hey, you're all about being a thought leader, and she knows a lot about it. She preaches it, she talks about it, she teaches it as well. Our guest is Eva Janetta, and she is the founder of Medusa Media Group. She joins us from Phoenix, Arizona this morning, not too early for her there, and she is a thought leadership advisor and trainer as well. First of all, Eva, thank you so much for being on the show.
Monica, thank you for having me.
Fun, fun, fun. Let's begin with your backstory. You didn't wake up and say, hey, I'm a thought leader. What's your journey been like, particularly when you were minding your own business, had a good corporate job, as my mom used to say, and suddenly your world, as you said, imploded? Take us back.
Yes, that was not a very fun time in my life, but I suspect a lot of you watching can relate when something really unfortunate happens with your job or elsewhere in your life. It really causes you to reevaluate and sometimes make a sharp right turn. And that is exactly what happened to me. My corporate job imploded, and I was honestly a bit scared to go ahead and find a new job. So I decided to do the less scary thing of starting my own business, which is ironic in hindsight.
Yes. Some would say, wait, that's really scary. Don't do that.
Ignorance was quite blissful. I was very young when I started my company. I was 25, and I didn't have a lot of corporate experience, and so doing my own thing honestly seemed safer at the time. And I'm grateful I didn't know what I was signing up for, because, well, I might not have signed up, but I did. I started leveraging the marketing and communication skills I had from my corporate career and applying them to entrepreneurs and helping entrepreneurs with their social media marketing, their email marketing, their, what I didn't know at the time was thought leadership marketing. But over the years, I came to find out, oh, that's what this is. And that's what I really love. So gosh, after about 5 years working for myself, I declared my niche in thought leadership training and advisory. To make a long story short, here we are.
Yes, bravo, and good for us, because you have so many gems to share. If you had to define it in a few words, what is thought leadership?
I know. Yeah, I'm so glad you asked, because it's one of those like jargon terms that's like vaguely understood, but what does it actually mean? So typically speaking, when you hear the phrase thought leadership, it's just two words to describe the expression of ideas that demonstrate you have expertise in a field. Pretty basic. I prefer to take that definition a step further and define it as providing your provocative insights and the strong opinions and positions that you have on issues in your unique voice. I know you can relate to the power and importance of voice.
Yes.
And the purpose of this is to make an intellectual impact and to position yourself as an authority so you can build power and wealth and drive social change.
Mhm. Is it a lofty ideal, Eva, or is it really something that needs to happen, particularly for people who want to have more, I hate to use the word control, but be able to pivot and niche down and try new things and really not just be the one in an industry or in an arena, but leading the thought behind the industry and the arena?
I don't believe it's a lofty undertaking, but it is one that takes time. Respect for your ideas doesn't happen overnight. And you could, I guess, be a thought leader in your journal, just like privately share your thoughts with yourself. But to be a thought leader, you need to be out in the world sharing your insights, sharing your strong position with others. And so what I work with my clients on is building what I call a thought leadership ecosystem. So it's not just the ideas between your ears that could change the conversation, but it's leveraging those ideas in a myriad ways to get them in front of people, to make that intellectual impact on others. And like you said, Monica, to actually lead the conversation.
Right. Can you give us an example? Because somebody might be watching saying, this sounds great, a little scary, but this sounds great. What would that look like and can look like?
Yeah, so a really well-recognized thought leader is Dr. Brené Brown. And that, I think, is a lofty ideal. Not everyone can or even wants to get to that level of recognition and fame and work. But I share her as one example because she's so well known. You know, she's written books, TED Talks, done research, has podcasts, speaks. She puts her thought leadership out into the world in a lot of different mediums. But you can follow in some of those footsteps in terms of writing books or conducting research or writing articles or starting a podcast. Those are the same things that Dr. Brené Brown does, and you can do them too and become what I call like a local thought leader, really well renowned and recognized in your vertical, in your field, for your topic. And that is a really powerful way to build authority and attract opportunities.
Right. And it's so amazing because oftentimes, you know, I've done a lot of media work for many, many years, and they're what we call gatekeepers, the ones who decide what messages get out, what narratives get out, whose story gets told.
Yes.
The beauty, and sometimes it paralyzes people with all of the options now, is that you don't have to wait on a gate leader or a gatekeeper. You are now the gatekeeper. You get to decide when you launch your podcast and go beyond episode 3. That's your decision that you can make. Is this an empowering time that you've noticed, particularly with women or with those who have their business and their message, to be bold enough to put it out there?
Yes, I think you're absolutely right that for the first time in recorded history, the playing field, it's not that the playing field is level, but it's more level than it has been in the past. It's more level than it was for our foremothers, in the sense that, like you said, Monica, we can choose to start a podcast. We can start our own blog. We can publish our ideas on social media. We can self-publish a book, for that matter. Now, any one of those things involves a whole host of micro steps that get you to those points. But I want to acknowledge what you said. It's true, Monica, that all of the options can be overwhelming. And that's why one of the first things I work on with clients is just picking one thing to do and to do it extremely consistently and to really hone your ability and your craft in that medium, whether it's a podcast or articles or a video series like this one, to really hone your skill there. And again, it takes time to build recognition and to form relationships with people and get them to come back and come back. But with time and attention, and I would say love, you do.
Yes. Yes. You know, we let people know when they come on the show, we recognize them. Angelique from Canada.
Hey,
hello, Angelique, a past guest on the Powerhouse Woman Show. Thank you. And doing some amazing things. Talk about thought leadership there with her social media love. Amazing as well. So again, how do you know it's working for you, particularly when, you know, you might have shiny object syndrome, or you might be like, everybody's telling you what to do, but you know, you've listened to Eva and even say, you know, let's niche down, let's get this going. How do you know that you are now a thought leader? Is
That's
there an
a great
election?
question. That's a great question, right? Because there's no certification. No one's out there like dubbing you and you are now a thought leader. So I look at this two ways. One, I actually want to produce some of my own thought leadership on this topic, but I think I'm really intrigued by the idea of thought leader being a subjective title. So someone who is a thought leader for me, who I find has really had an impact on my ideas and my thinking, you might go to that person and be like, what? This doesn't work for me, and vice versa. So there's a level of subjectivity in terms of certain thought leaders are going to click with certain members of the audience. People have their preferences, and that's good. There's enough for all of us. So I think that's one aspect of it. But I think another aspect of it, as with many things like becoming an artist or being a dancer, or I mean, you reach a point when you've been practicing your craft for a period of time where you're like, you know what? I get to call myself this now. That's not the case with like becoming a medical doctor, but that is the case with many other creative pursuits where you reach a point where it's up to you to adopt the label, and that might feel a little uncomfortable or vulnerable, but no one else is going to do it for you. Or maybe they will, but you can also do it for yourself.
Absolutely. We want to say hello to Deanna. Thank you for saying hello. Someone you know too. Yeah. All your fans are showing up. So again, putting yourself out there, creating, some people call it containers, but creating vessels for your thought leadership. Some people shy or don't go as boldly as they know they would like to go because of comments, criticism, critiques, people hating. We want to just say what it is. How have you dealt with that, or have you had occasion to deal with that?
Yeah, so that is a very real, I was going to say possibility, but maybe it's more accurate to say that's a reality that thought leaders will, probably not a matter of if, but when. Now, this is particularly true. So what happens when you are an actively thought leading is you get more spotlight on you over time. So more attention, more visibility. And with that, like you said, Monica, come more haters. And this is my experience has been that this is particularly true if your topic is somewhat controversial, and or if you are a person with multiple intersecting, historically underestimated identities. So for example, I have women of color that I work with who are in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. They get much more hate than I, a white woman talking about thought leadership, have ever received.
Mm.
So it's not fair, but it is true that your topic and your identities have an impact on what kind of negative pushback you will receive. I don't know of any solutions for that other than wholesale restructuring of our society and culture. So what I counsel with clients and myself is creating safety in your body, whether that's through therapy or somatic practices, and having a lot of self-compassion and having a really strong community of people who will support you and can help drown out those negative voices.
Right. And it's not an indication of you need to be quiet. It's an indication of this is your voice and it's going to be there, and some will get it, some will not. It's not going to be comfortable. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't, but it's kind of like what it is, type of thing, until we have the shift and the change. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned, Eva, when you work with your clients, give us an idea of some of the things that you do with your clients, and particularly with 2023 coming up and a program that you're launching.
Yeah, so we work with clients privately, and we also have 2 intimate group programs that we offer. And I really stress that they're intimate because these are small containers purposefully, because I really value the power of small micro communities of women. So I teach a program called the Micro Marketing Method, where we set up sustainable systems to scale your thought leadership and your lead generation and the opportunities you are seeking and attracting. And we also have a program called Exponential Influence, which is really focused on creating and polishing and producing your best thought leadership.
Amazing. And before you say goodbye, I do want you to give either an email or a website or landing page or social media, wherever people can find it for you. And finally, tell us about Medusa Media Group and the evolution of Eva Junata that led to the naming or the renaming of your company, your little 25-year-old self.
I had a very vague, bland, serviceable, but not very interesting company name before. But about a year ago, we rebranded as Medusa Media Group. And what I love about the Greek myth of this figure of Medusa is that she was so powerful that a man had to kill Media Group.
So once again, how do people find out about your programs coming up, and just in general, because I'm on your email list and I love it.
I love my email list. Man, it's one of my favorite ways to connect with people and talk with folks. So yeah, if you go to yourlinkedinprofile.com and you enroll in that LinkedIn profile course, you'll also be added to my email list where you'll get my bestest, juiciest thought leadership right in the comfort of your inbox. And you can also go to medusamediagroup.com and check out our work there and our programs. And finally, if you are also on LinkedIn, reach out to me. I love connecting with people. Tell me that you saw me on the Powerhouse Women show with Monica. Monica and I are connected, and that's a great way to directly reach me right there in LinkedIn.
This has been the Powerhouse Woman Show. Thank you for watching.